AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AfterBuzz TV for Hater. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest hater news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AfterBuzz TV for Hater.
Welcome, welcome. The series premiere episode tonight, and what an amazing episode it was. I got to watch it with 4 amazing people, and all of them loved it. And it was quite interesting. Some we were converted on. Some people, others we still hate. But hey, we'll get all into that. But before we get into any of that, let me introduce myself, Phil Svitek, as this is your first time ever listening. DJ Jesse Janedy in the booth. Thank you.
Yo, what up, AfterBuzzers?
That's right. Sir Richard Wentworth, our voiceover announcer. And I am joined today here with our special guest, Susan Graham.
Hello.
And she will talk about her more in the special segment, but just give us a quick intro of who you are. I know you're on Comedy Central, but...
Yeah, absolutely. I am an actor, a writer, and a producer. Most of my stuff you probably saw on Comedy Central, and I've got a short film coming out shortly.
Shortly, there we go. And do you feel like you have haters in your life?
Yes, who doesn't?
You know what I've heard? I heard life's not worth living if you don't have haters.
Yeah, the right people don't hate you, right?
That's right. But hey, I guess, I don't know. I might have too many. But,
right there with you.
But enough about me. Snooki. So it was ironic because we were actually just talking about it before we watched the show. And, you were familiar with the Jersey Shore and you're like, it's a show that I love to hate.
Yes.
But you love Snooki.
I gotta say, I do. I think before I watched the show, I had a lot of opinions. And recently I started watching it. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a guilty pleasure. I don't tell everyone, although now everyone knows. But I think Snooki is pretty hilarious. She comes up with some great one-liners, and she seems like a good, genuine girl. I mean, what's there not to like? She's a little ridiculous, so what?
She is. And Nick was the guy's name, right?
Yes, her hater.
Nick, tonight, the biggest difference between the two haters was that Jake's hater was much more witty-er.
Yes.
Versus Snooki's hater, he was kind of, quote, just a hater. He didn't really have any points of like, okay, so you party a lot. You give us a bad name. You party a lot. You give us a bad name. Okay, can you go more specific? Can you actually deal with the girl? And I feel like as these kind of shows, as hater goes on, that's who'll really win. It's who's wittier.
Absolutely. I think you, as an audience member, sort of want to identify with the hater versus the hatee, if you will. Mm-hmm. And I think the problem with Nick was he just seemed a little bit down. You felt bad for him, but you didn't understand why he hated Snooki so much. He seemed to know enough about her to be kind of sad, but not really enough to actually be able to hate her, You know
what? I'm going to hate on Nick for a little bit, and he hates his life.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. It did, didn't it? Just a little bit.
No offense to him, kind of, what would you guess his age? 30, close
30s.
to 30?
30s.
He was 31, yeah.
He was 31?
Oh, my.
Okay, so he's 31. Probably, okay, you know what? Makes a living.
Yeah.
Makes a living, but not happy. There's a difference between, okay, if you're kind of still struggling, but you're a struggling artist versus, okay, you're 31, you should have a real job, but you don't, and you're not an artist.
Look, it takes a lot of energy to hate like that, which means you're probably not that happy. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So no offense to Nick, but a little bit overweight. I could see where they hate it. It's coming.
The camera adds 10 pounds, but in person, who knows?
He's what I call a Twitter hater. He's somebody who hides behind the
Hides.
computer. They go on all the gossip sites, the blog sites, and he even made a comment tonight. I wish I could remember exactly what he said, but
yeah, you don't want to face them.
Exactly.
Didn't he say something like that? Like you don't want to face the person you talk about. Come on, Nick.
And this was in the
That's
scene
not
with him and
okay.
his parents, right?
Yeah.
When he's talking to that. Yeah. And shoot, what was I gonna say?
Well, he came around. That was sort of redeeming. But before then, there was some back and forth, I think, when he was trying to get to know her, which I think was a little bit really awkward for a while there.
Yeah.
When they got thrown together, if you will. I don't know. I that made me sort of identify way more with Snooki and her cute shoes that she was wearing. And, like she tried. Yeah. She's upbeat. She's someone
I know. And that's the thing,
with.
she's very much a people person. And so there's an ability that some people have versus other people. Like people who don't have a diverse group of friends, it's very tough for them to, get out of that circle if they meet someone new. Whereas Snooki, I feel like, can really hold a conversation with, a 10-year-old child, someone her age who loves to party, or someone like Nick's dad who's a firefighter and all that, and, obviously older than her and in some sense condescending to her, but she could still get on their level in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. She's warm.
She is.
Whether or not, she always gets every metaphor exactly right, who cares? She's a warm person. Genuine goes a long way in my book. And look, Nick cares about his family. I think once he saw his family, sort of, the tide turned for him too. And that means something.
And at the end of the day, like, Nick's hating on the fact that Snooki's book sucks, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, Snooki, at least she admits, okay, you know what? I don't read books.
Yeah.
Sorry. Whereas he's just saying, have you ever read the book? No.
No. I mean, come on. Everybody knows. Rule number 1. You can't criticize something if you don't know what it's about. If you haven't read a book.
Literally judged a book by its cover.
Literally.
Literally. But,
I mean, the one thing I will say about Snooki that was just like, because she was hitting all the points hard, especially this car ride, I felt he was a little starstruck. But she hit all the points hard. You didn't read my book. You don't know me. You're going, I understand where she was going, saying you're just judging me off what you see on TV. Well, yes.
Yeah.
That's what she needs to understand. Yes, people are going to judge you off what they see on TV and what they read in the tabloids, because that's all we have to go off of.
That was a little unrealistic, I think. Her whole speech sort of to Nick's mom about how you don't really know me. It's just what you see on TV. I mean, she needs to realize that what people see on TV is who she is.
I get that, but there's also this part. You know what I mean? There's many facets to her and the rest of the cast. And if it were another reality show, I could see that. But we know, and she's explicitly said this in other interviews, where I'm getting paid to party. That's what I'm there to do. I'm not there to knit. I'm not there to make global change.
And editing. They edit that show. Who knows if there's amazingly intellectual sides to Snooki that we don't see because they edit it out. Everyone knows that, I think, who watches any show.
Exactly. And I think, you know what? I mean, how many times have we seen, quote, the hidden camera or whatever street interview question of, like, they asked seemingly very smart people of, like, okay, who's the president of Iran? Everyone messes
Colonel
up.
Sanders.
Exactly. And we all have our stupid phrases that in the moment, if you just isolate that one phrase, it sounds
so
pretty
many. Yeah, I'm so glad people weren't asking me questions and taping some of the things I said. Absolutely.
I mean, I definitely believe there's a whole different side to Snooki. And her making that point to Nick, I totally understand her going about it in that sense. Like, you're just judging me off what you see on TV. Like, you should know better. We're similar in age.
Yeah.
But with the mother, what she needs to understand is the mother's not watching your show because it's out of her demographic. Yes. And you have to understand why the mother is looking at it and saying, I don't want my daughter watching this because you're getting paid to party and act crazy. I don't want my daughter watching that. There's nothing wrong with that, and Snooki needs to get that fact. But I did see the mother turn around. I liked how the father, made the comment, we're only going to call you Nicole tonight. I thought that was really sweet, and I think he saw her genuineness towards the end of the night.
I did, and I think the strategy that worked for Snooki, I mean, at the end, she did convert him, versus Jake was the fact that she did just kind of a normal activity.
Yes.
Whereas Jake tried to make this grandeur gesture.
Date, it seems like, which was kind of inappropriate. She's 20.
Well, what? I mean, legally it's appropriate, but
really, I think even though it's a little. How old is he? I assumed he was in his mid to late 30s, but I don't know. That's
still the fact, okay, you're trying to convert a hater, not date her.
Yes, you're not trying to date her.
So I think he got the name of the show confused.
Yeah, he's been on The Bachelor or whatever else too long.
Yes, indeed. Well, I guess, do you guys want to move on to Jake?
Yes, I have so much
to say about that. Oh, okay. I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, Jesse. Well, why don't you kick it off in that case?
I loved Danielle. That was the name of the hater. Loved her to death. She got a fan tonight. She was real. She really was being real. She wasn't trying to be rude. I mean, okay, the internet, the whole video thing at the beginning, if someone's asking you a question, you're going to say what you're going to say, but she kept it legit through the entire day. And he did not do anything. Exactly what you said. You didn't do anything different. I could watch The Bachelor and watch you take a girl on a plane. How are we going to get to know each other flying a plane? How are we going to get to know each other when you're taking me to the bachelor pad? Like, take me to meet your parents to see the type of person you are. That's what she was saying to him. And she's 20 years old and she's telling you that? Loved her.
I thought she was hilarious. And I also thought, obviously watching the show, these people are symbolic of general haters for the celebrities. And I think more of the point of the show was them debunking the myths in the tabloids and them wanting to set the record straight. And so Snooki really did a better job of that. And Jake sort of, I don't know, he didn't go about it the right way, like you said. And using this as a way to sort of tell America, not just this girl who's very witty and funny, it didn't resonate. He didn't come across as genuine to me. It still seemed like he was trying to impress me, trying to make me like him, which isn't the same as being who you are.
Yeah, I mean, Snooki had her format of how she was going to convert this hater. Jake had his, but it was too thought out, and anytime it didn't go according to plan, that's when he was like, she doesn't like me. What am I to do? What am I to do? Well, you got to change up your strategy just a little bit based on what you're learning from her.
Yes. Yeah.
And so he's not a chameleon. He can't really adapt.
Well, listening to other people, sort of taking it in, seems to be perhaps a problem from him. I don't know. I didn't watch this season of The Bachelor. But...
What do you? Okay. I believe this was us talking about it off air. So Jess, remind me if it was actually on air. But what do you know about Jake?
I know just the basics, and I watched a part of his in Vienna. Right? That's his former fiance's name. Their confrontation, I believe they had sort of a special after the Bachelor promo, and I watched, and it was so awful to see these two people who had once been happy just ripping each other to shreds. And then some of the fallout in the tabloid, you just see the headlines and them going back and forth in the media. So, that's basically what I know about him, because I didn't watch the Bachelor season that he was on.
I just saw the finale of it. I watched it towards the end. I didn't watch him dating with all the other girls, but I do know he was verbally abusive to her. Said very inappropriate things that I just shouldn't have been saying, especially on camera. Well, I mean, I guess just not in general. But as far as cheating, I can't personally say anything because I don't know if he was like that. They did seem happy when they were happy. But at the end, she was really mad at him, and there were times where I think it was both of their fault. Kind of a little Chris Brown Rihanna situation there. But he verbally, how can I side with you when I'm hearing you bash a woman the way you're bashing her? And he also actually stormed off in that interview too. So it's just,
they both behaved badly, but he came across pretty.
It was
intense.
Interesting. I think he came to some sort of mini revelation, and it was the only genuine moment that I saw was the fact of the reason why I went on The Bachelor was because all these girls have to like me. And I mean, honest to God, I just saw him giving himself a pat on the back as soon as he said that. He was like, oh, man, this is my life. Wow.
And it almost seemed, too, that revelation was supposed to do something. And I think he was just so shocked that didn't win Danielle over, that he kind of couldn't come back from it. Because I do think it was genuine, but you can't control people. You know, just because you have sort of an intimate moment doesn't mean that anyone else is going to identify with it. You have to get to know someone as well as you want to make them get to know you. It goes both ways. It's a two-way street, basically.
Yeah. And again, it just goes, he just couldn't adapt. And I go back to the car ride. He was just saying, okay, I've got a great date planned for you. It's a surprise, blah, blah. Okay, but there's still that time of you getting to the date. So it's not like you're driving in separate cars. So have a conversation there. Do something. Use that time instead of like, okay, waiting for something to happen.
I think it's really clear, too, with both haters that, listen, the opposite of love isn't hate. It's ignorance, right? So they're closer to the line. They spend enough time getting to know these people that there's something personal there for them. So they must remind each of them someone in their lives that they can't stand for whatever reason. There's a very personal connection to both Snooki and Jake. So talk to these people, see who it is, see why they rub them the wrong way. I think that's something, I think Snooki did a better job of getting it out of Nick, you know, with the whole dad, Italian identification being very important to him. But we never really figured out what Danielle, I mean, to me, number one trigger was she had a cheating boyfriend. That was so obvious to me. Right. I mean, I would love to call her and be like, who broke your heart? And that never even crossed Jake's mind. I'm like, talk to her, talk to the girl. And I know she put up a fight halfway through, but that's a huge part of why people have such intense emotion.
Yeah. And she even said, I don't have a boyfriend currently. Yeah. Like,
come
dude,
on.
you got to jump on that.
Jump on. And I know she's not going to want to talk, but be nice. She'll talk to you.
Yeah.
I think she gave him a fair chance. I mean, and the other thing he proved was that maybe you really are gay, because I was very insecure as a child. I felt like I had to impress my dad, who I felt didn't love me enough. And, you know, whenever a girl liked me, I mean, my gaydar went off with that. But he could just be a cocky little prick. But he reminds me of, I do the A-list here, which is on Logo, and he reminded me of one of the characters on that. So I don't know. He tried just a little too hard for me. Yeah. So I'm going to print that rumor out there.
I mean, you guys were, if you guys were on the fence about him, you guys became haters of Jake and lovers of Danielle. Correct? I mean, am I just making him...
I'm in that boat. Yes.
Sarah?
I don't know that I want to be I don't want to hate anyone. Quite honestly, I wasn't that probably interested in Jake, and I'll probably continue just being a little ambivalent. You know, if I see a story about him, I probably will click on it online. That's, yeah, genuinely. Until he shows me something genuine, and then that gets people, that engages me. You know, I'm engaged with Snooki. I want to know. I'll read it. I'll watch her on TV. Why not?
Fair enough. Well, before we, I guess, kind of head into a commercial, what if we talk, what do you think makes people hate celebrities? I mean, are there, you say you don't like to hate. Is there any celebrity that, even though you like to like them, you just don't? And if you don't feel comfortable giving a name, that's fine. But
oh yeah, what about them? I'm not gonna give any names. Are you kidding me? Listen, there's actually not anyone that I hate, because it would have to be somebody to truly hate that was just a terrible person, and those people sort of rarely stay celebrities for long. You know, that hurt someone else or hurt animals or something terrible. But I think the people I genuinely feel negative about are usually people I envy, which is sort of my own deal. So I try to get rid of that negative energy, because I'm honest with myself. If I have sort of a hater vibe, I'm like, come on, Susan, you're just jealous. You want that person's career. So that's kind of my attitude.
And you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, that's a very healthy attitude. I think, you know, the reason why most of these people are haters, Danielle, I would exclude Danielle from that, is because they are jealous. You know, I think Nick genuinely wants to be the situation on Jersey Shore. Something.
He wants to be maybe an Italian icon, and I guess there are some people, too, I dislike because they remind me of people that have hurt me in my past. That's also something. And you also have to be like, look, this person is symbolic, but it's not something that
Yeah.
You know, it's not the person, right?
I'm going to tell you who I hate.
Who do you hate?
I hate all the women that absolutely love Dr. Drew. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't hate Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew is a very nice guy. I like Dr. Drew. But okay, what about, like, there's so many hot guys out there. What about Dr. Drew is so appealing? They're like, oh, really? Do you like Dr. Drew?
He listens.
I never honestly think about Dr. Drew, especially that way.
There are so many women.
Really? I had not heard of this. This is very surprising to me. Dr. Drew, I think he's somewhat interesting as a psychologist, right?
I mean,
he's a psychologist, psychiatrist, one of the two.
Yeah.
And I don't watch Celebrity Rehab because I think, you know, from a rehab perspective, it's probably not the healthiest for those people, you know, to be on TV. So I have sort of like an ethical quandary with it. But I think he's a smart guy. I remember him from Loveline. That's sort of dating me, but I remember watching that back in high school. And it was, you know, I thought he was smart. He's a smart guy. But I mean, Dr. Drew, no. Women that love Dr. Drew, what is this? Is it a Facebook page?
No,
it's
probably
big here
is.
at AfterBuzz. A lot of the girls here at AfterBuzz
What?
swoon over him.
Wait, explain this to me. What?
I don't know. They're like,
We do Celebrity Rehab, and we can't explain. I can't.
Here's what I will say. I mean, again, I don't hate Dr. Drew by any means. I think he's, you know, he's a good-looking guy. He's actually he's very well built. Look at his arms. Like he's got way more muscle than me if I like flex right now. I swear to God. And okay, yeah, he's very intelligent, but I don't know.
You know, maybe it's just that he makes them feel safe. I don't know. I got nothing.
I mean, he's a well-off gentleman who listens and helps and cares and.
You know what? I'm starting the new show. Okay, why do you love me? Lovers? I'm starting Lovers.
Lovers.
Where Dr. Drew goes up to those women. Why do you love me?
Oh no.
That would be a very
terrible concept.
limited.
All right, Jesse. Well, why don't we hit it with a commercial and we'll come back and we'll interview Sarah.
Want to find out what the AfterBuzz is about?
Janice is a drama queen.
This is the divide that is going to carry the series.
Give us a call. 424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
It's television, and they want it to be as dramatic as possible.
I mean, it's Shakespearean.
You never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Find out why AfterBuzz TV is the #1 source for after-show content.
Now, in the eyes of Jimmy, Snooki is a villain.
424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
I mean, who would you guys rather hear that from? Your husband or your best friend?
The wig will come out.
When the TV show is over, get your AfterBuzz on.
All right, welcome, guys. So some of you may think I'm a hater because I called Susan Sarah. It is not Sarah. It is Susan Graham.
Yeah, I totally set you up for that one.
Oh, my God.
Jedi mind trick you into that one. So,
I know.
Susan.
It is Susan Graham. So, Susan, you're on Comedy Central.
Yes.
What is your involvement?
Well, I co-wrote and co-produced a short called Two Girls, One Cop. Not the other one.
Oh my God, I was just going to say, what?
Not the other one. I'm also in it. And it aired on Comedy Central a few times, actually, and MTV2. And it's basically a spoof on girls getting pulled over and a mystical service called Onslaught that I played one of the Onslaughts, and we get them out of tickets in a hilarious way.
Excellent. And is it still replaying, or is it online for our viewers?
Yeah, it's actually online on Comedy Central's current website, atom.com, and that's atom like the molecule, ATOM. And then eventually we're going to put it on our YouTube channel, which, pending, you can find it on my website.
And what is your website?
SusanGraham.tv.
SusanGraham.tv, not Sarah.
No, Susan. And
I'm gonna be embarrassed about that for the rest of at least the night. I will be honest, at least the night. So you're a writer. Is that your main passion, or is it more acting?
I actually became a writer because I am an actor first, and started writing because I didn't see the roles out there that I wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
And through writing, started producing my own things.
And obviously you're drawn to comedy then, right?
I actually just finished co-producing, co-writing, and starring in a dramatic short. So
okay,
I guess you could say I do both. And my degree's in theater, mostly dramatic stuff.
Where's your degree from?
I went to Yale for drama.
Oh, very nice. I grew up by Brantford, which is by New Haven.
Very close to New Haven.
It is very close to New Haven. That's in Connecticut for you folks who are uneducated and hate non-intelligent people. How did you like Yale?
I loved it. I can't complain. I thought it was a wonderful education. It was very hard and very cold, but the people were amazing, and it's a great place to go for theater. You're really close to New York. It's just awesome.
And cold. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Texas. South Texas, McAllen. Amazing place to grow up, actually, because it was really diverse and close to the border with Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it just really prepared me, I think, to ironically be a minority, which is something that you don't really get a lot of looking like me in this country. So I went to Yale with a really great perspective, and it was very cold for me, having 90-degree weather year-round in McAllen, and then going to, I'd say, snow 4 or 5 months of the year?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
So you're into both dramatic and comedic?
Yes.
Really? Split 50-50? You're not? I mean, most people that I talk to, they're like, okay, I prefer more dramatic roles versus...
Well, I think my background in drama made me think that I really wanted to do drama solely. But I realized that the two are really just different tempos of the same music, if you will. And I found that writing-wise, comedy came really naturally to me. I have a friend who was in the Groundlings when I moved to Los Angeles, and she would always be writing sketches. And I sort of started throwing jokes out there. She told me, you're really funny. You should do this. I kind of brushed it off. And
do you have a name? We're pretty close. Ron Hoffman. Do you know him? He's like in charge of the Groundlings, and he's a close friend of AfterBuzz.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my friend now is on SNL. Her name's Nasim Pedrad. But when she was actually in Sunday Company, and her roommate is actually my writing partner now, and we wrote Two Girls, One Cop together, and we realized the show we first wrote together was Natural Hazards. It won us a little comedy award at NatP, which I don't know if you know is sort of a web new media conference, and we realized
that was just a couple of months ago, correct?
It was, and I won in 2009, so a couple of years ago. But surprisingly to us, we won Best Web Comedy. And we kind of started working more and more in new media and then shorts, and sold this one to Comedy Central and haven't really stopped since. And then I missed drama is what happened. And I got the opportunity to work with an amazing director. She's actually sitting over there because she doesn't like to be on camera. Her name's Lauren Fash. And she really convinced me that I was a good dramatic actress and I could really do it. And we co-wrote this movie, Quiet, together, and we co-produced it, and she directed it, and I'm in it. And I'm really, really, really proud of it.
Very cool. So, I mean, let's say tomorrow you can have any role you want. What is the ideal role for you?
Well, I used to say I wanted to be Joan of Arc, but I might be getting a little bit too old for that.
Why Joan of Arc?
I just have always been obsessed. I read the play by Shaw in college, and I think she is crazy, which is always amazing to play. And everyone thought she was totally insane, and then she proved them wrong, which is great for an actor.
And do you like that time period as well, or?
I do, and I've never really gotten the chance to do that period because come on, let's be honest, writing for TV and film, that's a big budget show. Yeah, nobody's gonna really let me do that. So yeah, that would be my dream role. And yeah, I think before then we're working on the narrative version of Quiet, so that's in the near future. That's my dream role, and then in the far future, I'll probably just produce Joan of Arc since I probably won't be able to be in it.
Fair enough. Who do you draw inspiration from? I mean, just in speaking with you and all the hats you wear, you kind of remind me, especially in this comedy world, someone like a Louis C.K., John Benjamin, whose shows John Benjamin Has a Van. So where they edit, direct, produce, and star in their own shows. Do you look up to them, or who are the people that you look up to more?
I think I look up to someone like Tina Fey and Larry David in terms of my brand of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It is sort of a mix between those two, actually. And in terms of drama, I have so many influences because it's so hard for me to pick a favorite movie. My favorite movie, actually, of all time is this Argentinian film that you should see if you haven't seen it. It's called The Secret in Their Eyes. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a perfect film. So I love that. And that's the style that I love, which is a really well-written story that works and shot really well and just sort of makes you break inside while also making you feel hopeful. That's what I go for. So it's what I'm working on.
Fair enough. Jesse, you got some questions? I didn't let you in on this.
Well, I mean, as far as the movie Quiet, can you give us a little bit about what it's about?
Sure.
What type of role you're playing?
I play the role of Allie, and she has to lie and say she is her partner's sister so that she can visit her partner Sam in the hospital during a really intense medical situation. And through flashback, we see the couple's relationship sort of develop as we also see the hospital situation develop.
Very nice. Another thing I've kind of noticed tonight is that you are very female empowerment. I know you're a big Buffy fan, and then you talking about Joan of Arc, wanting to play that role. So maybe
a lot of swords, I guess.
Like a lot of combat fighting.
Yeah, I didn't. That's true. Which I should probably get on, huh? If I want to do that role, should probably learn how to do that.
Take some combat fighting classes. Well, I'm saying so. Maybe we can work on getting you in a new. Let's get a new female.
Action hero, right?
Has anyone done like a comedic Joan of Arc take?
No, that would be pretty hilarious. I mean, come on, there's a lot of comedy there. The girls walking around having visions. That's pretty ridiculous. So it's kind of a mine, actually.
Also, as far as like writing comedy, how did you? In my past, I've done stand-up comedy. What have you done to work on your actual like comedic timing and just because, I mean, you went to school for drama, so comedy really wasn't.
I'm just funny.
In your brain. It's just
naturally funny.
Timing.
I came here in Groundlings and UCB were the two schools I found the most helpful. Groundlings is sketch, mostly. You do improv in the beginning. And then UCB is amazingly welcoming.
And UCB is Upright Citizens Brigade.
Upright Citizens Brigade. They have schools in New York and Los Angeles, but I took the Los Angeles courses and they're awesome.
Do you know Todd Wilson, Gian Molina, Hal Rudnick?
Hal is in Two Girls, One Cop. Hal plays our police officer.
Oh, there you go.
Hal is so funny. It makes me hate him and sad inside that I will never be that funny. But I love him because he's in our short and he's just a genius.
You just got to keep writing girl parts.
Yeah.
That's how you cut out Hal.
No, I want him in everything. He's so funny. Definitely. I get nervous around him. I'm like, you're too funny. I don't know. I can't be. I have to leave. But yeah, he's great.
And one more. In theme of tonight's episode, is there a story you could kind of tell us about a hater situation in which you've had to deal with? Or maybe like, I know working in production and things like that, dealing with somebody maybe who was envious towards you, or in vein of tonight's show.
Gosh, I have some, which I don't know if I can say.
Can we leave it a little
Can we bring in the hater sometime? And you guys can meet?
Oh, man, I don't know about that one. That could be really awkward. I think probably the biggest... Yeah, okay, I'll just say it. The biggest hater I've had was somebody that actually wrote a review of Two Girls, One Cop, and they ran a website, which I won't mention, and kind of really used us to sort of drive up their readership, if you will, and were really, really nice to us in person, and we hung out a bunch and talked about how much they loved it. And then came the review. Click. And it just like cut us off at the knees. And we were so sad because we know this person. It's different when it's just an anonymous, but it seemed mean spirited, and it didn't seem like an accurate review. And I think it's that's critics are always hard, but it was the first one, and now I don't read reviews anymore, so no problem.
Well, my question would be, I mean, this person, was it their type of humor? Was it their, was it their cup of tea?
Probably not, and I think. And my only issue was don't be like, oh, it's gonna be a great review. Don't worry, don't sell us on it.
And you know what? I'm gonna steal this from Adam Carolla. There's people. Okay, if you're going to review, let's say, Chinese restaurant, you gotta like Chinese to be able to review. You can't hate Chinese and then go review it and say it sucks. Yeah. Well, you just hate Chinese food.
Totally.
So, so that's where my pet peeve comes in with, a lot of those types of haters that review things.
Well, and I think unequivocally, whether or not it's your sense of humor, we did a good job. And I think that's the thing. You could just say, I don't think it's funny, but there's just nothing you can complain about. Like, the sound's good, the picture's good. With so much that, videos you can watch and they're just not put together well. And we worked really hard to make sure that it flowed. And you got to laugh at one of the jokes. I don't care who you are. One of them is funny. Hal is funny. Hal is hilarious.
I will say Hal is funny, and while on the subject of Hal, Hal, you don't know this, I guess, is in our movie Serial Buddies.
Oh, congrats!
Which is, for those of you listening and are in the Boston area, it is set to preview September 20th at 8:45 p.m.
Well,
so that's coming up.
Check out bostonfilmfestival.org.
There you go. Thank you, Jesse. Anything else that you'd like to say to our listeners, about future projects, stuff you're working on currently, websites, Twitter handles, anything of that sort? Give us everything.
Yeah, well, okay. If you want to find out more news about Quiet, you can definitely check out SusanGraham.tv, Graham like the cracker. And you can follow me on Twitter at sugar, which is just sugar without the A twice.
Sugar?
Yeah.
I like that. That's funny.
Yeah, and that's it. Thanks for listening.
All right. Well, Jesse, cue our predictions, I guess.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right. Did they give us the celebrity? They kind of gave us a preview of the overall season instead of just next episode specifically. So I guess first predict who out of those celebrities, who would you expect to see? Kim Kardashian. They had Joe Francis. What's that?
Who are you excited to see?
Definitely Janice Dickinson for me. That lady. I actually have a story about her that I have secondhand. Can I throw that out there?
Please share. I love Janice.
And it made me really love her, actually. I had friends who were driving in a Mini Cooper, and they were taking a legal left-hand turn, and she just was trying to pull out the opposite direction and pulled in front of them, and they literally almost died. And she was in a huge SUV. If she had hit them, they would have been crushed. And she obviously felt bad. They were close enough to see in her windshield, and they're shocked, and they're stopped. And she just literally made this sign, which is, sorry, I'm crazy, and then pulled away, which I thought was amazing.
She is amazing.
I mean, here's what I was, in watching her on Celeb Rehab, obviously not the best light to see her in, but she really is genuine.
Really?
Yeah. I have a lot of respect for her just in seeing that.
She seems to work her tail off, too, from what I've seen. Like, she hustles. I respect that.
She does. And, in fact, in that season, she goes up to Eric Roberts, like, why don't you respect me? And what she's saying is, hey, you and I have both reached a certain level because of the work we've put in. So I respect you. Why don't you respect me back? You know what I mean? As if, like, he was basically diminishing everything that she'd done.
That's not nice.
Excuse me. So Janice Dickinson for you guys. For me, I'm kind of excited to see the Kim thing. It could be either something really good or, I mean, anytime you get Kim on TV for a guy, come on.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I see that. She's a beautiful lady. I'm not going to dispute that. I think she's, Kim Kardashian. Who's going to say no to that?
And plus, I mean, there's so many people that hate Kim Kardashian. But at the end of the day, for me, I think she's a very smart woman.
Business-wise, I would say yes.
Yes. Jesse, anyone else for you Do you?
I mean, the Kim Kardashian one, if they get the right hater, because I don't want it to be someone stupid like, I hate you because you say your butt's fake. Like, I don't want that. Janice Dickinson, just because, like you said, she's crazy. And
well, what do you guys think about Joe Francis?
Levi Johnston, I'm kind of excited.
Oh,
really?
Don't get me started on Joe Francis. It'll be a whole show for me.
Well, it's funny because he's going up against the mom, whereas I feel most of the other quote haters are, in the age range of 20 to 30.
Really?
And right, that's what we kind of saw. And Joe Francis, he's going up against like a 50 or 40-year-old woman, of like, you're ruining America, you're ruining my daughter. So I think it'll be really funny converting her versus like a 20-year-old who has an impressionable mind still. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think he has a chance with that one.
Yeah, it's gonna be like tonight's
not
episode
gonna
with Jake, like not happening.
Well, doesn't it seem like it's gonna be one gets converted, one doesn't? Does that seem like the format?
Maybe if we're lucky, we'll get 2.
The finale.
Oh my God, we'll convert everyone.
Like I think the Ron Artest one, I think that one's gonna be really easy because it's like a little boy who likes basketball. So what are you gonna? He's gonna like you as soon as you play a game with him. I don't know. I feel like some of them are gonna be easily bought over.
Yeah, and it's in sports. Here's the thing: like if you're an actor and you make 7 movies, and even let's say 6 of them are bad, people don't really hate you. You're an athlete and you have 1 bad game, all of a sudden people are like, oh, this guy sucks. What the hell? Until you have another good game.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like it's, for Ron Artest, it's going to be very easy to convert.
Oh, absolutely. He's also terrifying. Like, who's going to want to not? I mean, he's a large man.
Here's the thing. Whoever it is, he's obviously going to like basketball. So, hey, let's play some one-on-one and have some fun. Oh, great. I'm converted.
What about Scott, Courtney's boyfriend, from the Kardashians?
He's going to be hilarious.
That seems like a fight. Didn't they show like clips from a fight? I think that was him.
No, that was The Miz from The Real World, who's now a wrestler. But the Scott one,
wow.
The thing about that, it's kind of going to be on the fence because we don't really see a lot of him. And when we do, they really only show us douchey moments. And it's like, she's been with him long enough. So there must be some sort of good qualities. But then he shows up with his like silk robe. And I think he plays to his character a little.
I think it'll be hilarious. Well, thank you guys for listening to our first edition of Hater. Thank you. Oh, what is this? Okay.
Good.
All right. Thank you, Susan Graham, for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was very fun.
AKA Sarah, but not Sarah.
Nope.
I am so sorry. I'm definitely not a hater. One last time, where can we check you out?
Sure. SusanGraham.tv.
Okay.
Or Sugar is my Twitter handle.
That's right, guys. So be sure to check it out and follow her. And thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week. And hey, starting tomorrow and then as well as Friday, from noon to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will be broadcasting live from the Emmys gift suites at the Kari Fine Style Lounge. So be sure to check that out on ustream.tv/AfterBuzzTV. Jesse, take us out of here.
Peace.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janedy, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.